Welcome, everybody. This is Games Over Plastic, episode number 14. I am Midnight, back again with the two most amazing, best fellow hosts in the industry. As always, I am joined by the man, the myth, the legend, the master of weebery, and the man who is unfortunately, in his mind, back in the continental United States, no longer in Hawaii. Sean Mason, how we doing, sir?
I'm doing great. Yeah, I'm back in good old Massachusetts. Very different than Hawaii. It's funny when you're on vacation. You come back. It's always good to come back, but at the same time, you're like, I don't want to leave vacation, but you know, I like being home. But at the same time, I'm like, dang, I wish I was still on vacation. But I'm back. I'm ready to go. I got a month left, and then school starts, and back at it. But yeah, happy to be here.
No doubt. Yeah, enjoy that month. Get some good gaming in or something. That's what I'd be doing. All right. And then last but not least, we have Hodge, the Lord of the Cliff Bars, the air conditioning repairman. He was sick, I think, but he's feeling better now, hopefully. How you doing, sir?
I'm feeling a little better, but still not great. Yesterday I was I'm new to my job, obviously, and so I didn't have much PTO, so I had to burn it all on this week, and then I had to take one unpaid day off, and then yesterday I was like, I need to make money, so I went to work, and I made it like halfway through my first job, and I started getting dizzy, so I'm like, I called my boss, I'm like, I have to go home. I can't. I almost passed out while I was working, so yeah, I'm feeling a little better. I think I got that like long haul fucking COVID or whatever it's called, where my mom had it and I told her all my symptoms. She goes, that's exactly what I had. And I had it for 2 months. I'm like, oh my God, I better not have this for 2 months. So, yeah, I'm hoping get it leaves, especially since my job is, I have to exert myself a lot. So if I can't function, I don't get paid and I can't work. So I was thinking, I was like, that's the kind of reason I miss working on a computer, because I used to just, if I was sick, I'd still work because I'm just sitting at a desk anyway. So the only time I ever took off when I was actually working from home was when I was so sick. This is actually like right a couple months before COVID, so I don't know if I had it and just didn't know it, but I was like bedridden. I couldn't sit up without wanting to throw up. So that's the only time I didn't work from home, when I was sick. But yeah, hopefully I kick it soon, because your boy needs to get paid and he needs to work. So
Yeah, well,
but
hopefully you feel better soon.
hopefully we'll
Well,
see.
we are back with a very special episode today. This is going to be a lot of fun. First of all, we are going to be debuting our first ever write-in to the show. We mentioned this before. We teased it. If you guys want to have write-ins, you just go on YouTube. Go on to the youtube.com/@gamesoverplastic. Just search for it. If you're on the audio service, like I always say, there's a link to the video. Leave a comment if you have a great question. Kat, I'm recording a podcast. Sorry, everyone. Very professional. And we will maybe use your write-in. So in addition to that, we are going to be going over our games of the year, each of our game of the year from 2010 to 2019. So that's a decade right there. So that is going to be awesome. So that's going to be really fun. But as always, guys, Games Over Plastic. You can find us on audio services, Spotify, Apple, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Everycast. And then also, we are on YouTube, as I just mentioned. So leave us likes, subscribe if you're not already. And yeah, let's go ahead and start off the episode with the write-in, shall we? And Sean, you're the English major. Why don't you read the write-in for us? Shall you?
All right, I just wanted to read this one because this one comes from a good friend of mine, Broderick Fleming. He's a really nice guy. He's a very inspirational man. He's gone through a lot, but he's come out on top, and I'm really happy that he enjoys our podcast. So, for his, he had a comment. I'm not going to read the whole comment. I'm just going to briefly summarize it. He said he was a big PS gamer, and he enjoyed our last episode. He got a kick out of me cursing. It was the first ever curse from Sean Mason on the episode. And Midnight, he wants to play a game of college football with you. So
I'm
he's from
down.
Notre Dame.
Hey, Broderick, I'm totally down. My gamer tag is Midnight Space NS. Send me a message and we'll get it in. All right.
All right, and let's get to his writing. He goes, "What's your guy's favorite bad game? One just sucks, yet you are somehow entertained playing." One I thought of was Brutal Force on the OG Xbox. It was a squad-based shooter that was just terrible, yet I always found myself going back to it. So, first of all, I've never even heard of this Brutal Force game. Any of you guys?
No.
No.
Just shows how bad it was.
Must be really bad, yeah.
Yeah.
I only know good games.
Yeah, I only play good games. Sorry. No,
Yeah.
we are actually going to do an episode on our bad games we loved in the future. But just name a quick short game that I loved when that is really bad from my childhood was Nicktoons Party Blast. This game got a 1.7 on IGN. Didn't know it was that bad till I looked it up probably 10 years ago. It was a PC game. I got it at a Scholastic's book fair in 2001. I was 5 years old. Basically, it's a party game where you run around as Nicktoons. So you could be like Tommy Pickle. It was Tommy and Angelica were characters. Invader Zim was a character. Cat Dog was the host of the game. Yeah, and there was just a bunch of mini games, but I didn't realize how broken the controls were. I used to play with WASD, and shift was jump, and then one of my really good friends would play on the other half of the keyboard using the arrows. So we used to play multiplayer like that. So we play on the same keyboard. Oh my god, the mini games were horrific. It was a food fight game. There was a Splatoon light game where you had these packs on your back and you would shoot each other with slime. It was a trip. It was very fun. But yeah, I used to play it all the time. Turns out it sucked.
Okay. I thought of one. I actually did think of one. I was struggling at first. Like we mentioned, this is going to be a topic, but I do have one, and it is Rise, Son of Rome, Xbox One launch game. This was a 60 Metacritic. For some reason, there are a lot of people who really didn't like this game, but also it does have a strong cult following, and I'm in that cult following. I think the game was awesome. I thought the story was really good. I thought the graphics were awesome, and yeah, it was a quick time event simulator, and it wasn't super long either. I think it was 10 hours or so, but man, it was a good time.
It was 6 or 7. It was really short. Yeah.
It was a good time, though. Was it worth a full $60? I don't remember what they sold it for. Probably not, but it was an awesome game. I really enjoyed it. And that's my bad game, I guess. Rise, Son of Rome. Great game.
That one will probably be on my list when we do that episode, because I do love that game too. But I was going to do a different game, but I'm going to do, instead I'm going to do Order 1886, because I actually love that game. It was another one. It was just gorgeous. It was a tech demo. It was also a bit of a QTE sim. It was just kind of that tech demo launch game, or not launch, but early on PS4 game. And I love the story is so good, just like Rise. It's a great story. The gameplay's all right, but it's a beautiful game with an awesome story. Left it open for a sequel that we're never going to get, since actually just recently that studio shut down. Was it Meta owned them or something, and they shut them down?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that sucks. But Order 1886, I think it's a very underrated game. It's not amazing by any stretch, but it's better than how people treat it. So that's probably mine. But yeah,
I never played that one because it was treated so poorly. I was like, that's a skip.
That one's it's legit 5 hours. I'd suggest playing it someday. It's
like Hellblade 2.
Yeah,
maybe I'll.
It's funny. It's funny because it's it has I can't remember how many chapters. I'll say 13 or something, but some chapters are literally just cutscenes. That's so you only play 80% of the chapters. Some of them are just cutscenes. So it's a really cool story, and I definitely suggest people play it.
I'll add it to the 60 game backlog for you. Yeah.
It's really just if you need a quick 1 day game, if you just want to crank through a game in a day, it's worth it.
Okay.
But, yeah.
It's funny how those two games are intrinsically linked, because they're both the graphical showcases that have a cult following, but were poo-pooed by a lot of the communities and the critics. But all right.
Yeah.
So that was our write-in. Thank you to Broderick Fleming 9097 on YouTube. He's awesome. He's always supporting the show, and we appreciate you. And like I said, I'm 100% down. Get some college football in. Send me a message. I'm not the best, but we'll have fun. All right. Let's keep it moving, shall we, guys? Let's go ahead and get into what we are playing, as we like to do. And I'll go ahead and start this off to keep the order down, to keep the order opposite of what we're going to do for our games of the year, for no reason at all, because I'm autistic. But no. So what I'm playing, I am finally playing, Chris in Australia. Shout out to you, sir. This is for you. I'm finally sitting down to play The Witcher 3. This is everybody's game of the year probably for 2015. Well, maybe we'll find out, my co-host. Who knows? But I never played it. Well, I never beat it. I actually tried to play this game 3 times and dropped it 3 times. For whatever reason, I got distracted. I'm like, this is too much. But this time I am dedicated and I am resolute that I am going to beat the game this time. I'm sticking with it. I'm going to beat the whole game. I have to do it for Chris. We made a bet. Not really a bet. I'm going to beat The Witcher 3. He's going to beat Mass Effect 3 finally. So we're going to right these wrongs. So that's what I'm playing now. I'm having a lot of fun. I haven't got to play it as much as I would like because I'm still playing my live service games, X Defiant and college football. And they take, these live service games take so much time. They just rob you of your time. But I've played it a decent bit. I'm going to play it more this weekend. So that's what I'm playing, The Witcher 3. Have you guys played that at all? Either of you?
I tried to play it 6 times and I've dropped it every single time. Yeah.
You got me beat.
The furthest I got into it was 4 hours, and then I'm like, I'm not feeling. I don't like the I don't like the combat. I don't think it's like it feels janky and clunky to me.
The combat I'm getting used to. It's a little tough.
Yeah, I dropped it twice. I haven't been able to get into it, so I'm sure it's great, but CD Projekt Red games apparently just don't speak to me because I dropped Cyberpunk also. So
dude, Cyberpunk was awesome.
I know.
You gotta go back
now that they updated it again, like because I played it at launch and then I played it again when and I just dropped it because I just had other stuff to do when it first came out. I didn't have the technical difficulties everyone else had.
Yeah.
And then when they updated it, I went into it again, and actually that's when I started getting bugs, which was funny. But now that that Phantom Liberty and like they kind of redid the progression and all that kind of stuff, I might give it another try because the world in that game is fucking cool. Like that city, the Liberty City or whatever.
Dude, that is the most. Sorry,
I was gonna. You're basically what you're saying. It's one of the most realistic, like, and most alive feeling settings I've ever been in. It's so cool. But the game, like, I remember the second time I tried playing, I was just walking on the street and the cops just started shooting at me. I'm like, what the fuck is this? Like, why are they attacking me out of nowhere? So I just kind of.
And that's weird because they don't usually shoot at you much. Like that was one thing people complained about. So I don't know if you got like a weird glitch or something happened.
Yeah, something. So I just fell off. But now that they kind of updated again and they kind of finalized the game in a way, I might go back and try it again eventually. But yeah, but Witcher 3, not to go off on a tangent about Cyberpunk, but Witcher 3, yeah, I fell off. It just didn't stick with me. I couldn't do it. Like I said, it takes a lot for me to get into a fantasy game. So it didn't land for me.
Yeah, I hope one day we'll keep it moving. I don't want to sidebar, but I hope one day you do go back to Cyberpunk because it is one of the most immersive games I've ever played. Like the way they utilize the first person with the motion capture that they did and like the natural movements, it really, if you're in the right mindset, it really immerses you in the world. You almost feel like you're really V and you're really in Cyberpunk. Like you'll get in the car, like in the passenger seat, and the person will get in the driver's seat. They'll adjust the mirror. They'll put on their seatbelt. They'll look over. They'll start talking to you. It's just really super immersive, and it's just like I'm there, and I love it. But let's keep it moving. We don't want to sidebar too much. Yeah. The last game, I'm just going to be brief here. College Football 25 I'm playing. I mentioned this last week. I said I wasn't feeling it too much. I'm feeling it more now. I'm starting to get better. And I have to apologize to EA because I slandered them last episode and I said that they're not free to play friendly. They kind of are. I've actually been playing Ultimate Team and I'm shocked to say I'm no money spent. And I have a team that's like really good, like 81 overall, which right now the highest overalls in the game, like individual players are like 89. So like I have a lot of I have a couple 88s, 87s, 86, 85 players like loaded for free. Like they're just giving out packs as you level up. And so it's not too bad, but college football, that's what I'm playing. We'll keep it moving. Hodge, what are you playing, sir?
Yeah, so I finished Zelda Link's Awakening. That's the Switch version of it. I adored that game. I went and I found everything. I got all 50 seashells and I was obsessed with this. And I was kind of one of those where it's like when it ended, I was like, I kind of don't want it to end. I want it to. So now I'm really, really stoked for Echoes of Wisdom because that game, I'm more of a puzzler person than like the open world Metroidvania kind of person. So I'm very excited to just do all these puzzles as Zelda and whatnot. So I'm super excited. But yeah, I loved every moment of this game. And if you have a Switch, you should play this game. I understand why it was so beloved when it came out. It's so cool. But I do actually really love the Metroidvania thing. I'm just not as into it as puzzles. So like seeing something, you're like, there's a boulder blocking this. What is going on? And then later you find the power to be able to lift boulders and stuff like that. And like, oh, okay. So it's like one of those things where you're constantly going back and unlocking stuff that you couldn't unlock before. And yeah, and it's like we said before, it is a beautiful game. I mean, it's on the Switch, so my frame rate's dropped randomly a lot just because it's just not a good system. But the game itself, it's awesome. I loved it.
Hodge, did you ever play Oracle of Ages, Legend of Zelda Oracle of Ages on Game Boy?
No, I never played a Game Boy Zelda game.
Okay, it's made by the same people who made the original Link's Awakening. It's all puzzle based. It's literally because there's two games. There's Oracle of Ages and Oracle of Seasons. Seasons was more combat based. Ages was more puzzle based, and it takes everything from Awakening and just like we all hoped there would be a remake of Ages and Seasons, but like
Yeah.
it was awesome. It's all I would highly suggest it. I know it's a Game Boy Color game, but awesome game.
Like I'm such a odd Zelda fan because I only ever played the first two that were on NES as a kid because I had an NES, so I was able to play those. Was never very good at them, but they were fun. And then I never had an N64, so I didn't play Ocarina of Time until I think 2015 or 16 on 3DS. That's the first time I played Ocarina and Majora's Mask, which I wasn't huge on, but I know it's beloved. And if I ever figure it out, I'll go back to it because I just kept losing the time loop. I don't like game with timers, but and then I played obviously Breath of the Wild because that game's amazing. But I haven't played Tears of the Kingdom. I haven't played any of the Game Boy games or a lot of the SNES games. This is the first time I played, so I'm kind of on a little bit of a Zelda kick where I'm like, I need to play Tears of the Kingdom next, and then try and go see what else is maybe on like the expansion passes on Switch.
Link to the Past.
Link to the Past. That's the other one I've heard a lot about, so I definitely will have to try that one out too. But yeah, I love this game, and if you have a Switch, you should definitely play it if you haven't already.
Yeah, you want to hear my Zelda history? Here's my Zelda history. I have beaten Ocarina of Time, and it was amazing. One of the best games ever.
Oh yeah.
And then the other Zelda games that I've beaten there are none. So there we go. That's my history with Zelda.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy. But yeah, moving on, I'm also playing, or I briefly hopped back into Astro's Playroom because they added like the little secret bots and they added a couple trophies for it. So I was like, I already have the platinum for the game, but since they added 5 trophies, I'm like, I'll go back in and get them. But 2 of them aren't unlockable yet. They'll be unlocked soon. Because they haven't released it. They're like releasing one character at a time. There's 4 of them, and then you get a 5th trophy for unlocking all 4 of them. So I have 3 of them now, but I wanted to because obviously Astro is coming out in less than a month, and I'm super excited for that. I pre-ordered that controller. I'm not a controller collector, but that one I loved, so I had awesome to get it. Yeah, and then so I also hopped into that, and I also played it just because I was waiting for Sackboy to download because I didn't have it download on my PlayStation, which is the other game I'm playing. Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Everyone's definitely right that I was missing out not playing this yet because the only thing I don't like about the game is some of the designs of characters are really weird. Like they make Tim Burton look normal kind of thing. Like, so the little offset designs is kind of off-putting to me, but I do love that it's also like the tinykin thing of like you're in a small area of actual stuff, like things are built from felt and all this, and you're like running around on paint cans or something, like just random household things. So it's like you're really this little Sackboy guy running around in a real world, and it's such a cool look for that part of it. And the gameplay is awesome. It's so innovative on all it's not just a basic platformer where every level you're just trying to jump to different areas to finish. Like you get a boomerang to collect stuff or open things. You get like just all these different little powers, and it is such a good platformer that I'm pissed at myself that I didn't play it earlier, but I'm loving it. And it's just getting me also more hyped for Astro to come out next month.
It's one of the best platformers of all time.
It is really freaking good. Yeah. I couldn't believe. I want to play the co-op parts because I know there's co-op levels and stuff.
I played the game entirely in co-op, and it was unbelievable. Yeah. The only thing I didn't do in co-op was the final Knitted Night challenge. My co-op, I kept going way in front of them, and they kept falling by. Those Knitted Night challenges. Wait till you get to the last one, Hodge. The last one is ridiculous.
Yeah, I have gold on. I've only beaten 6 of the 15 so far, so I've gold on all of them. So I'm gonna try.
The last one is insane. Also, what do you think of Vex, the villain? Vex, he's such a weird design.
Yeah, but I like it. It reminded me of like Spyro, the Spyro villains, like kind of a
Yes.
Ripto type villain.
Yep.
I really like it, and yeah, it's. I didn't expect it to really have a story. I mean, obviously it would. It's a game, but because Little Big Planet, the other games, it felt like you're just kind of beating little levels, and there wasn't really much to the game, but or like the story. But this one, yeah, there's a little story. It's like, and it's the same thing of Spyro, of the villain comes in, captures all the dragons, but this time it's all the Sackboy people, and so you're just the little Sackboy guy trying to save everyone. And yeah, it's an adorable game, other than the weird looking characters. But yeah, it is a very, very good platformer, and I'm loving every second of it.
Dude, the way they incorporate the music into the levels is
Oh
like
my god,
it's
it brought me
like
back to playing Rayman when you used to
yep.
everything's in beat, and then obviously Hi-Fi Rush was everything was in beat. But yeah, it really brought me back to the
Dude,
Rayman levels where you'd
the
be
Uptown Funk level, the Uptown
yeah.
Funk level, that blew my mind. I could not. I was like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah,
It was awesome.
it's really I love that kind of stuff
Yeah.
where they make like, that's why I loved Hi-Fi Rush, because I love it where it's like to the beat, like everything in the levels just bouncing to the beat of the song that's playing. It's so cool. Yeah, I'm loving this
Toxic.
game. So and thankfully it's not that long. I looked it up. Like the completionist, they say it's like 30 hours. I'm like, all right, so if I want to 100% of this game, it's only gonna take me 30 hours. I'm okay with that. And just beating the story, I think was like 10 hours, and I'm over halfway through, and I haven't played it that
The
long.
platinum
So.
is a little bit more than just getting 100%. By the way,
Is it?
yeah,
All right.
it's
I'll have to
it's a
look
little
at.
bit more.
I haven't looked at the I don't like looking at trophies when I'm playing something through the first time, because I don't want to see a spoiler on accident. So I
No,
haven't
that
looked
makes
at the
sense. Yeah.
trophies yet. But once I beat the like story, then I'll go back, look at the trophies, and then go back and try and get everything else. Because
So
yeah, this is
good.
definitely a game I'm probably gonna want to platinum, unless there's one that's just impossible that I'm never gonna beat. But I don't think that's the case, since it is a kids game. But yeah,
Yeah. So as you guys know, I'm not the platformer guy. So
yeah,
it will probably not shock you to find out that I haven't played either of those games. Sadly, I have nothing to say.
yeah.
But I was a little surprised when I saw you playing this other game last night, Hodge, because I didn't expect you to be on this game.
I know. I hopped in. So my last game I've been playing, I just started it yesterday, is Sea of Thieves. I actually played it back during season 2 and season 3 very briefly, but that was before they had private servers. So I remember I started really getting into it with my brother when they had the Pirates of the Caribbean season, because I was like, oh, this is so cool. They're bringing Jack Sparrow to, Sea of Thieves. And we were having a lot of fun. And then during a mission, this it was just me and my brother, so we're two guys on a little small ship, and this squad of 4 just comes up and blows us out of the water. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to get destroyed and get sent to hell or whatever or Davy Jones locker every time I'm trying to do something. So we actually did play on a live server yesterday, and it was fine. We actually found one guy. He was by himself. We could have killed him, robbed him, but we just danced with him for like 10 minutes then left. So it was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's a really like, it's insane how complex this game is. Like, you have to do every little thing on the ship. You have to patch it if you get shot and get the water out of the basement. Like, it's so fun. I'm like, this is exactly what I was hoping for the game, but other than it was, I just didn't like getting killed by randos. So the fact I was playing this morning with my brother in a private server, and it was fun. We just did a couple missions, and we're just having fun sailing around the seas, being pirates. And yeah, it's a really enjoyable game. And now that it has live servers, if anyone wants to just hop in with friends and just sail the seas, it's a whole lot of fun. I'm loving it.
Yeah, Sean, you played this at all?
Sea of Thieves, I've never played it. No.
It's crazy how the longevity that this game has, because I remember
yeah.
I remember 5 or 6 years ago, I was working at Staples. I was a sales manager there, and I remember talking to our store assistant manager. He loved that game. He was always playing Sea of Thieves, and I remember talking to him about the streamer Summit, the big streamer. He was playing Sea of Thieves, and I was watching his clips. They were really funny how he was trolling people. He was like tucking like on their ship, like to where like they couldn't see where he was or didn't know he was there, and then he was like making weird voices and trolling them, and people were like, "What the hell is going on?" Like, it was just really funny. But that was like 5 or 6 years ago, and this game is still flying high and just really thriving. So that's really cool.
And
I played it.
Friend of the show, Ben Smith, big fan of the game also.
Yeah, people like Ben get super sweaty out there, man. They're out there doing like complex maneuvers, jumping and flipping and doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I played it super briefly with my brother, like super briefly. I'm talking about like a couple hours, and it was cool. We got a couple treasures and stuff, but we moved on.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be. It's not a game I'm gonna go in and just sail around on my own. It's just kind of went because my brother was playing with his two buddies, so I was like, they need a fourth, so I downloaded it and hopped in with them and just had a lot of fun. But yeah, if they're playing, it'll be a game I hop in and sail the seas with them. But it's not going to be something I'm like obsessively playing like I was with Helldivers or how I still do with Fortnite and that kind of stuff. But yeah, I'm loving it. It's a good game.
All
But
right.
yeah, let's move
So
on
that's
to
the
Sean.
games.
What's
That's
up?
the games that you're playing. All right.
Yeah.
As you said, let's move on to Sean. I smell some weebery on the horizon. What's going on with
Yes.
you, Sean?
So I finished Trails through Daybreak. Amazing game. It's my new favorite Trails game. So it's my third favorite game of all time now. It overtook Azure.
Better than
Yeah,
Reverie?
better than Reverie, better than Azure. Yeah, unbelievable. The way that this game just develops the characters is you can see the progress that Neon Falcom has made throughout their like games, and like they've gotten so much better at developing characters in a shorter time frame than over the course of a whole trilogy. Like the way that they evolve, like the main character Van and some of the other characters like Agnes and Ferry and Aaron throughout the entire game is insane. Also, shout out my new overall favorite character in the entire Trails franchise, Judith Lannister, is in this game. She is one, she's hilarious. Two, she's awesome in combat, and three, she has a great backstory, like really, really cool backstory. When you get to chapter 5, like there's a full on like freaking battle royale going on in like like a labyrinth. Like you're in and there's like multiple teams. It's so cool. It's awesome. The end of the game is wild, like very much peak Trails.
Sean,
totally
can I
awesome.
just say?
Yeah.
Can I just say I just looked up this Judith Lannister?
Yeah,
and
you
I just
probably
gotta say there's another reason to be a fan of her too.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, you probably got the scene in chapter 4.
She's looking quite good, I must say.
Yeah, something happens in chapter 4. But no, she's awesome. I'm not going to spoil what her true identity is, even though it's pretty much spoiled right away. But yeah, the game's awesome. Just unbelievable. Like I said, I'm 2 trophies away from the platinum right now, so I'll probably get it maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow. Yeah, I already played through it twice. I played through it on Nightmare mode. Nightmare mode is like you carry over your level and everything, so like I could like speed through the games really easy. But yeah, that's Trails Through Daybreak. Unbelievable game, and like I said, the more I played it, the more I realized there's no way you can just jump into this game and play it. Zero chance.
Right.
There's especially when you get to the end, they make references, like a lot of references, and some characters come back. Yeah, I can't wait for the sequel next year. Let's go. I know Hodge is dying to play this game.
That's the only thing I can think of.
That's what I figured. Next up on my list, we have Metroid Prime. Like I said last time, I told you guys, I played it for like 10 straight hours on the plane, and just like was like, whoa my gosh, like I need a break. I had a couple hours left. I finished it up on a plane ride home. Great game. Like I said last week, 2 weeks ago. I can't believe I slept on this game so much. What I did realize though is I am really bad at the game. Like it's so much more of a shooter than I realized, and like when I got to the end of the game, I kept dying and dying, especially at the end boss. Oh my gosh, I probably died like 15 or 16 times, to the point my sister was sitting next to me on the plane, and that's her favorite game of all time, and she looked at me and said, "Do you want me to beat it for you?" And I go, "No, like you can't do that." Yeah. Yeah, she was getting aggravated because I was like bad. So then she, like I said, like last week, she booted up Metroid Prime on her Switch and like beat it in like 4 hours. And I'm like, oh, that's great.
That's so funny because I play Fortnite a lot with Berto, who's the buddy of ours who's going to do the spoiler cast. And I was waiting for him to get on one time. And he's like, "Yeah, hold on, I'm on the final boss of Metroid. I'll be on in like 20 minutes." And he texts me after 5. He goes, "Never mind, just beat it." I'm like, Jesus.
Yeah. It's definitely one of those games where like if you know what you're doing, like you can easily beat the game. I love the different power-ups though. Like just going in the morph ball and moving around to Samus in that morph ball is so like it feels so good. And then dropping like essentially grenades. They're like Samus bombs, and you can like morph ball jump your way up to like different things. Nintendo did such a good job with level design and area design to make you use the power-ups you earn. Overall, I really love the game. I'm going to get much more into it in the spoiler cast, like we said. But yeah, that's Metroid Prime. After that, I was feeling some Mario Bros. So after I finished Metroid Prime on the plane, I booted up Mario 3 and just decided to run through the game. A warpless run. Did it in about 40 minutes. It was pretty awesome. I love Mario 3. One of my favorite Mario games, not my favorite, but one of my favorite. Game just is one of the perfect games out there is Mario 3. It's like one of the only perfect games out there. Absolutely love it. The one downside is I wish you could be Luigi in it, playing single player. I wish you could just switch to Luigi. But overall, it's a great game. It was actually really fun because when I was playing it, that's my dad's favorite game. One of his favorite games of all time is Mario 3. So after I played it, he took my Switch and played through it. And he's like, "Oh, I gotta play through it now because you played through it."
Yeah, that's one of those that I remember was back, in the internet days or pre-internet days where you'd be on the playground telling people like the secrets in games and stuff.
The warp whistle.
Yeah, finding all or just like sitting there crouching on a block and it puts you down behind the level and you run, like just knowing all
World
those
1-3. Yeah, World 1-3. Yep.
Awesome.
The level, the area design in this game is awesome. Like I love like the big world where all the enemies are huge and you're tiny. Like I love that. They even echo back to that in Mario 64 in one of the levels where everyone's huge. Mm-hmm. It's just overall, it's a great game. I mean, if you don't know Mario 3 is a great game at this point, I'm shocked.
Amazing.
Fantastic. And then finally, I was bored on the last 5 hours of our plane ride. Me and my sister booted up Smash Brothers Ultimate and just played for 5 hours with each other. Just me and her, just going back and forth. We played a couple 99 live matches. That was fun. That was fun. Smash is like one of my favorite franchises. So it was so much fun just going into Smash and just playing it. And it just reminded me of how much I love Smash Brothers. And like, it got to the point where I'm like, I kind of started looking up some local tournaments around here, and I'm like, I think I'm going to get back into this.
Oh,
nice. Might be a little out of my prime, Smash Bros. Prime, but I think I can still do it. Shout out to I was rocking Wolf. Wolf's one of my favorite characters. Also Toon Link, Young Link, Dark Samus, and Wolf. Yoshi too. I like Yoshi more in the older games, but yeah, just Smash Bros. Is so much fun. Like I adore it, and I would love to just get like a weekly Smash Bros. Like night with people. I know the online's terrible, but I wish I don't know. Smash Bros. Is great.
Yeah, I remember I loved it because the main story mode, you start as Kirby, and Kirby's my main, so you're supposed to unlock people and play with new people as you do it, and I just played as Kirby the entire time.
Yeah.
Because
it's funny because in the story mode in Brawl as well, you can start as Kirby as well in Brawl, and that's definitely because Sakurai created Kirby. That's definitely why.
Yeah.
And you can see like the menus of Smash Brothers are taken directly from Kirby Air Ride. Like after Kirby Air Ride's release, like Brawl, Smash 4, and Wii and Ultimate, the menu designs are taken right from Kirby Air Ride. It's so funny.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Good stuff. Are you satisfied, Sean?
I mean, with the games I've played, yeah. Satisfied
with the games
you've
played?
I don't know, maybe.
No, you're probably going through a little bit of a depression now that Daybreak's over. What are you gonna?
I mean, I am a little trails, sad. Man. I know. Don't worry, you'll hear about it in a little bit.
Oh, okay. All right, so that is the games that we are playing right now. I want to take a quick second to say thank you guys if you're listening. Don't forget to leave a like, leave a comment if you have write-ins, and subscribe if you haven't already. All right. We're going to move in to our main topic of discussion. As I mentioned earlier, and we're back. Okay, some administrative fun stuff went down. You guys missed out. Hodge was breaking out the guitar. He actually was. I'm not kidding. It was awesome. He was playing some riffs, man. You want to play something for us? No, I'm just kidding. No. Maybe another time. That'll be that's on the OnlyFans too.
There you go.
Yeah. All right, guys. So we are going to get into our games of the year. Now, originally, the game of the year, I was going to do 2011 to 2020, but my two co-hosts didn't want to hear me gush about Ghost of Tsushima anymore.
Yeah,
so we changed it. We changed it to 2010 to 2019. So that's what we're doing. We're all going to go over our games of the year from 2010 through 2019, and we are going to get it started with Sean Mason. 2010. Take it away, sir.
All right, 2010. This was immediately a very difficult decision for me. It came down to two games, and I ultimately decided, one of my favorite series of all time, Kingdom Hearts, Birth by Sleep, the PSP edition. I remember when this game got announced in like 2008. I was so intrigued because they just showed like these three characters, Ven, Terra, and Aqua, and I had like no idea who they were, and I was so like why does this character look like Roxas? Ultimately, this game is awesome. This is when the Kingdom Hearts like really like stepped up. The entire game is dark. Like the other games, like the endings were dark, but this game, like the entire thing was just from the get go dark. There's 3 different campaigns. When you go back and play it, though, it's definitely a PSP game. Like a lot of like, oh, you're in this area, then there's a loading cutscene. Oh, there's only like the worlds are very like shallow, but overall it was great. It was like a prequel to the original Kingdom Hearts, and it really started kind of the crazy story that is Kingdom Hearts. But it's integral to the entire Kingdom Hearts series. Like if you could only play one Kingdom Hearts game, I would actually say play Birth by Sleep because it kind of sets up everything else. It also, I absolutely love Ventus, whatever you want to call him. Vanitas kind of freaked me out. The villain, like one of the villains there, he used to freak me out when I was younger. Again, I was 13, 14 when this game came out. Yeah, overall, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep, great game. Also, some pretty cool worlds. Get to go to finally the Neverland, but it's like actually on like Peter Pan's like actual like homeland, not just a ship on Captain Hook. Also, you get to go to Lilo and Stitch, just in space though, which is really cool. Speaking of Lilo and Stitch, you guys see Stitch live action?
Yeah, it actually looks like Stitch.
I think it looks cool. I think it looked awesome. Just a little.
I hope it's good. Lilo and Stitch is one of the most underrated Disney movies of all time, so I really hope they do it justice. But yeah, it actually looks like Stitch, which makes me happy.
Yeah, that's why I was pumped he was in the Birth by Sleep world. He's a great partner. But yeah, Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. The other game I was considering was Fallout New Vegas. Went with Birth by Sleep though.
I actually before we started recording, I said I already know Sean's 2010, and I was right. It was Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, I figured. It was tough though. It was this and Fallout New Vegas were really, really close for me.
Yeah, there were definitely some tough choices for sure. I had similar stuff, but Hodge, you're up now. 2010.
2010. It should come to be no surprise to anyone who knows me, but it is Alan Wake. I fucking love this game. It is one of my favorite games of all time. It is such a cool, like Stephen King, Twin Peaks thriller thing. The gameplay, I understand when people say it's kind of repetitive. You just kind of aim the flashlight at people, then shoot them once the darkness is gone. Like, I get that, but the story is so fucking cool. I love this game. Remedy has never missed for me. I love every single game I've played by them. So this game is right up there as one of my favorites of all time. And yeah, I adore everything about this game, Alan Wake.
Hodge, do you like it more than Alan Wake 2?
It's really tough because they're both very different games. The second one, it's obviously graphically way better. The story is very cool, but it's a little more confusing than the first one. And I love it. I'm not shit talking when I say this, but it does the thing that I always complain about, where sequels, they just expand it so much that it kind of just gets confusing. Like Kingdom Hearts 1 is a straight up story. It ends. I mean, there's a cliffhanger, obviously, but it's a one-off kind of story, and then they continue it and make it confusing as hell. Alan Wake 2, they did the same, where in Control, it's like, guess what? The thing that happened in Alan Wake, it's actually a thing that happens everywhere. It's not like the one-off kind of thing of the mystery of Cauldron Lake anymore. It's like, oh, this is an apparition that happens multiple times, and there's a department of control that takes care of it. And it's like, I mean, I like what they're doing, but at the same time, it's like, I kind of liked the fact it was just kind of the creepy thing of like, this writer got absorbed by the darkness, and there's another writer coming in to try and defeat it for him. And it's such a cool premise that it sucks that I love them both for very different reasons. They're like right there with each other. I can't really say if I like one more than the other, because I adore them both so much. But yeah.
All right.
Okay. Right on. So good stuff. My 2010, excuse me. This was also a very tough decision because by all rights, it probably should be Mass Effect 2, because I think I might have Mass Effect 2 honestly rated higher than this game, but that's not what I went with, because I just really love this other game so much. And it's so unique, and maybe Mass Effect will appear elsewhere on my list. So I actually went with Sean's runner-up, Fallout New Vegas. I love this game so much. Shout out Obsidian, one of my favorite developers.
Wait, you like Obsidian?
I love Obsidian.
So Western RPG. What?
Crazy.
I know it's shocking. It's shocking.
What?
It is shocking. But you guys will be shocked to see that there's probably a lot of the same developers and games on here. But anyway, I am who I am. Fallout New Vegas was just an incredible game with incredible choice and consequence and stories. Shout out to Caesar and his Legion. Awesome. Love how they're out there terrorizing the wasteland. It's good stuff. But yeah, Fallout New Vegas is incredible. I could go on and talk about this game for 2 hours, but I will spare you guys. We've been over it before. Just an awesome game. You can play it multiple times. The story, the world. There's nothing bad about this game. In my opinion, it is awesome. That's my 2010 Fallout New Vegas.
Before we move on to 2011, you guys gave honorable mention, so I really want to quickly say that God of War 3 and Red Dead Redemption were also released that year, which are both great games. But yeah, I went with Alan Wake.
Midnight, walking into Caesar's camp and just seeing all the crucifixes with people hanging on the crosses.
Yeah.
Gosh, I'll never forget that. I like freaked out as a kid.
Who did you side with, Sean?
The first time I ever played Caesar. First time.
I did too.
I've done them
clearly
all.
The evil guy.
Yeah. I've done them all, but first time was Caesar. And I used to walk around the house. Because you know how all the NPCs would be like, hail, Caesar. Hail.
Always. True to Kaiser.
Yeah. They would all say that. I used to walk around the house just doing that. My parents just get so mad at me. It's so funny.
This is one I need to play. This one I never have, and I've heard nothing but good things. Like, the people say it's the best Fallout game, and I liked the other ones, so this is even better than.
It's my second favorite Fallout.
Yeah, I need to play.
I like 4. I like 4 a little bit more, but that's because it takes place in Boston, Massachusetts. So.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving, shall we?
2011. We're starting out the start of the Legend of Heroes Trails games with Trails in the Sky, the first game. Absolutely. One of the greatest franchises of all time. It starts right here. This came out on. So I'm doing U.S. releases because it originally came out on in 2004 in Japan, but it didn't come out in the U.S. till 2011 on the PSP. Trails in the Sky. It's one of the cozier games of the Trails series. Like, it's very like heartwarming. You start out as Estelle and Joshua, and they're trying to be bracers, which is like kind of like it's. Kind of like a police officer, but they also have police officers in this universe. They're a little bit different than police officers, but they're just trying to do, and they're picking up these ragtag tasks going around Liberal. Overall, it's a great game, really cozy. Like, I anytime I see like a picture of it, like I'm filled with just joy. It takes me back to I played this when it came out. I remember it was one of the last PSP games I really like dove deep into. Estelle's a great character. I've grown to like her a lot more, especially when she appears in later games. I like Joshua a lot. Really interesting backstory with Joshua because he's adopted, and you find out a lot more about his backstory as the Sky trilogy goes on. But yeah, it's the start of the Legend of Heroes. I've gone on about the Trails games so much. So yeah, Trails in the Sky. But so weird. My first 2 games are PSP games.
That is weird. It is. Is every single year just going to be a different Trails game, Sean? We'll see.
No, it's not.
Probably could be.
I mean, you'll see.
I actually forgot to say when you were talking about Birth by Sleep, I never played it on PSP. I didn't play it until it came to the collection because it was back. I had a PSP, but I obviously was young, so I couldn't buy games on my own. Really, it was just kind of what I was given. So I never played Crisis Core or Birth by Sleep when I had the PSP, and it made me sad.
Dude.
But I've played them since, so it's okay.
Midnight release Birth by Sleep right here.
There you go.
Midnight releases for PSP games. What?
Yep.
Or wait, something else.
Oh, okay. All right. My 2011 game is Portal 2, one of the greatest games of all time. It's hysterical. It's a hilarious game, and it's one of those games that uses environmental storytelling to it's a peak version of it where Portal 2, you're in basically Aperture after it had crumbled. And so you're going around and you can sneak around. There's an achievement for if you go down this one way and you find a ship from a different game. I think it's from Half-Life or something. And then you find a portrait of a lady, and GLaDOS is just why is she so familiar? And you basically find out that the owner of Aperture turned his wife into GLaDOS. And it's this. Sorry if that's a spoiler, but the game's 13 years old. You should have played.
Wow, how dare you?
And then also, as I said, I'm a puzzler, so I love the where do I have to place these portals to get out of this room thing. And it is a perfect game. I don't think there's a single person who's ever played it who said they didn't like it because it is straight up one of the most perfect games ever made. And my other choice, actually, I'm not even going to say what my other choice would have been because I'm going to assume it might be on one of your lists. So. Let's move on to Sean. What's your Midnight, your 2011? Unless you want to talk about
You'll never
4K.
guess. You'll never guess what my 2011 is. It's going to be a very small game, indie game, actually. This game came out of nowhere. Nobody saw this coming. And it, of course, is The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Very small indie project that not a lot of people have played, but I highly recommend it. You guys go out there. Todd Howard, the GOAT.
I can't believe they never remastered it. It's crazy. Didn't
Yeah,
release
you
it
would
more
think
than
that they
once.
would release it on other systems and,
Yeah, it's crazy.
stuff. Yeah. They should do that. They could make more money if they re-release it.
They should
But
put it
yeah,
on Amazon
I
Alexa.
can't believe they moved on right away to the next game.
I know, it's crazy. It's insane.
they actually did that. But good. Well, they haven't come back to Elder Scrolls yet, is what I mean. But they will soon. Well, in like 4 or 5 years. But Skyrim is incredible, as I know, but my two co-hosts shamefully do not know. But they will. They have to be this year. That was the agreement. They promised Sir Lockmort that they would, so they will, I'm sure.
I promise
Skyrim.
it.
Beat it. No, beat it. Was
try.
the promise. We'll go back and listen. Or I think it was you had to at least pay 50 hours or something. It was a lot. Anyway, Skyrim is incredible, okay? It's so good. The world is beautiful. You can explore every inch. It's just the pinnacle of, oh, what's over there? I'm going to go explore. Oh, what's over there? I'm going to go explore. There's all these awesome stories. The main story is good. Then you have the Civil War story, which is also good. And then you have the faction stories, which are incredible as well. You can join the Dark Brotherhood, the Thieves Guild, the Fighters Guild, whatever. It's awesome. I mean, it's Skyrim. What do I need to say? You guys know it's awesome. Even you guys haven't played it, you still know it's awesome.
I remember that this game won Game of the Year, and I was so mad because I wanted Arkham City to win because that game is so fucking good. But then I played Portal 2, and that's even better. But the other game that I had honorably mentioned that was my second place game from this year was Uncharted 3. But then I realized Sean had already gone, and he wasn't on his list, so I should have just said that. But yeah, Uncharted 3 also came out that year. It's awesome.
There you go. All right, so that was 2011, boys.
2011.
Now we're moving on to 2012. Sean.
All right, 2012. I think this is arguably probably one of the weaker years of these years. But my game of the year for 2012 was New Super Mario Brothers U, a launch game for the Wii U. I got it the day it came out. I loved my Wii U. Oh yeah, Wii U. I know, but New Super Mario Bros. U is the best New Super Mario Bros. Game, and it's a shame that a lot of people were like done with New Super Mario Bros. They were so sick of it because Nintendo just kept pouring out that New Super Mario Bros. Art style. But this game, of all the New Super Mario Bros. Games, that has the best level design, a lot of different variety, a lot of the older New Super Mario Bros. Games. It's funny. A lot of the older New Super Mario Bros. Games had like they relied on the same level design and the same backgrounds a lot, where you really went into diversity in terms of theming each world. You had a desert world. Obviously, you have your desert world, you have your ice world, but there's also like dessert themed worlds. Your underwater world. There's a lot of secrets in this game. You can play as 4 characters. You get Mario, Luigi, and the 2 Toads. It also introduced Nabbit, one of the most interesting Nintendo characters of all time, I would like to say. But yeah, there's a lot of secrets in this game. It also gave us New Super Luigi Bros. U, which was in the year of the Luigi, which made it basically gave you an entirely new levels, and they made them even more difficult, and you only had 100 seconds to beat them. Overall, this game rocks. Love New Super Mario Bros. U. Highly encourage you to play it on Switch now because it was re-released on Switch.
Okay, right on, Hodge.
Yeah, you were right. This isn't a very it's crazy because there's a bunch of games I could choose from, but yeah, this is probably the weakest of the decade in terms of game releases because there's not one that's like a straight masterpiece. It's just really good games that came out this year. But kind of honorable, I'm going to go with Spec Ops: The Line because this game is one of the most underrated and underappreciated games that's basically ever been released. The story of this it's insane how haunting the story of this game is because you're basically these soldiers going into a war-torn city, and I don't want to spoil anything, but basically it's a mind fuck of what this game is. It just plays with your mind and you don't know what you're seeing kind of thing. And it was such a overlooked game. Not many people played this game, but it is really fucking good and people should play it. It's not that long. The story is insane. But yeah, did you either of you ever play Spec Ops: The Line?
Never played it.
No, but I wanted to because I heard like all the choices and stuff are really cool.
Yeah,
Dark.
it's an incredible game. It's very overlooked. But the other games I was very torn between Dishonored and this, because Dishonored is such a fantastic game, and The Darkness 2. I actually really love that game. The Darkness games. I wish they'd come back with that one. But it was kind of a weak year because I remember IGN gave Game of the Year to Journey, and I'm like,
Huh.
like, that game's fine. I don't understand why people are like obsessed with it. It's just kind of fine. But yeah, that's mine. Spec Ops: The Line.
All right, good stuff. Good games. I have to apologize to 2012 from my co-host. I don't know what they're talking about. They're saying this is a bad year. This is an amazing year in my opinion. Let me just rattle off a couple of the games that came out in 2012, which were incredible. You had
Prototype
Telltale's
2.
Walking Dead, Persona 4 Golden, one of the best Weeb games ever. Let's see here. Mass Effect 3, Journey, Fire Emblem Awakening, one of the best games of all time. Borderlands 2, which amazing movie just came out, right? Far Cry 3, the best Far Cry by far, an amazing game. Anyway, I could go on and on. This was a good year. Black Ops 2, Call of Duty Black Ops 2 came out in 2012. This was a good year for gaming. I don't know what they're talking about. But anyways, respectfully disagree. My game of the year, as you might have guessed, is Mass Effect 3. Because it was my number one game of all time. How could it not be my game of the year for 2012? Mass Effect 3, the best Mass Effect game. Mass Effect is incredible. The choices, the consequences, I love those things. How it all comes together. Trails in the sky, Trails in Reverie style. These games all come together. It carries over from game 1, 2, and 3, and then you have this culmination of all your choices. And yes, the original ending was a little bit of a letdown, but they fixed that with a patch. They did the extended cut, which made it quite better. And just overall, there was so many powerful moments. There was literal tears dropped at times when some of these characters had super powerful moments and potential deaths and sacrifices, and it was just awesome. So that's my game of 2012, Mass Effect 3.
When you were listing off all the games that came out this year and you had Mass Effect 3 in that list, I was like, oh, he's not going to pick it because I thought it was just going to be an honorable mention. And I was like, is he going with Halo 4 for his game?
Oh, yeah, Halo 4 came out that year, too.
And Assassin's Creed 3, which a lot of people do like, but it was kind of a
dude, that was a good year. You guys
I didn't say it was a bad year. I said it was the weakest of the decade.
All right, fair enough. It's an opinion. We'll disagree.
Yeah.
Let us move on to 2013, shall we? Sean Mason.
All right, 2013. I've mentioned this game before when we did our top 10 games of all time. This is not Trails, but Tales of Exilia. So Tales, not Trails, but Tales. Another JRPG series that I really like. Exilia is my favorite Tales game of all time. It holds a special place, mainly because I was falling off the Tales series, and this one kind of brought me back. I didn't like a couple of the previous entries, and this one really just drew me in. I absolutely love the main character, Jude Mathis. He's an awesome character. He's a really cool backstory. Immediately, at the time, I saw myself in him when I was playing. He's very soft spoken, looks out for others, and I really just connected with him. So that really just made me really enjoy this game. Overall, the combat system in this game is awesome. It took what the Tales series had been implemented before and just kind of upgraded it to the nth degree. Story is amazing, and it's one of the only Tales games with a sequel, which is Exilia 2, which came out the following year. But yeah, Exilia is awesome. I hope that the rumor of the possible remaster of the game is true. That would be awesome, because this game is criminally underrated, and it's stuck on the PS3, and a lot of people didn't play it because it was right at the end of the PS3's life cycle. But yeah, Exilia, Tales of Exilia.
Oh God, it's a PS3 game. All right.
Yeah, it came out right at the end.
I was just thinking maybe that's something I'll go back and play sometime, because I've never played Tales, but I can't play it if it's on the PS3 because Sony needs to get their act together.
It came out in August of 2013, so it's right at the end of the PS3.
I've heard a lot of people say that Berseria was really good. It's kind of dark.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest Berseria fan.
Okay, all right. But that's a good pick, though. I feel like, even though I haven't played it, I have heard that one is really good from many people. So, Hodge.
Yeah, my game of the year 2013. It was very tough, actually. Even though the game I'm picking is one of my favorite games of all time, it was still tough because there's another game that was released this year that was amazing. But my game of the year is going to be The Last of Us. It's one of the best stories ever told in a video game. The gameplay, it's good. It's not great. It's it's a little slow at times. It's not perfect, but the acting in this game and the story and just the emotional beats are so strong that it is truly one of the best games of all time, despite the fact that the sequel did not live up to the expectations for me. But the other game I was the other game I was thinking of for this year was BioShock Infinite because I love that game. But yeah, Last of Us, it's just so good. I've talked about it a lot on the show, but yeah, Last of Us is definitely my game of the year for 2013.
So good, so good,
so good for sure. Good pick. Yeah. So I also had a very strong dilemma, Hodge, this year. I was debating. There were 3 games that I was really highly ranking on, and I was really debating in my head between The Last of Us and GTA 5. Grand Theft Auto 5 also came out in this year and was incredible. As you can see by the fact that they're milking it still to this day, and people are still playing it crazy. Yeah. And I was like, man, I don't know which is better, which is better, which is better, which is better, which is better. And I couldn't figure it out. And I was getting pissed off because I literally couldn't make a choice. And then I said, you know what? F it. I'm not picking either of them. I'm picking the third game that I like probably arguably just as much as those two because I didn't want to make a decision. I copped out and I picked BioShock Infinite. That's my game of the year for 2013, BioShock Infinite. Is it better than those other 2 games? I don't know, but it's about equal. I mean, it's an awesome game. I love it. I love that world. I think it was called Columbia, right? The floating city. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It was just so colorful. The characters were awesome. The story, the ending, the gunplay. It was an awesome game. Was it as good as the original one in Rapture? I don't know, but it was amazing. So that's going to be my pick, BioShock Infinite. Very sad that we didn't get another BioShock. I mean, that was 2013. That was 11 years ago.
Well, we have one coming, but I don't know if anyone will play it because it's not from the same creators or studio. But BioShock Infinite, I love it because like Rapture is the best setting in any video game ever. I'm going to always stand by that. It is the coolest setting ever made. But BioShock Infinite is so cool because you get up to Columbia when it's still like functioning. It's still, you walk in, there's like the city of people going to shops and concerts and whatever, and at the markets and everything. And as the game progresses, it falls apart. And it's so cool just seeing it kind of crumble under its own, under its own weight or whatever. And it is such an insane, like, I understand that people have the argument of is Infinite or BioShock 1 the best game in that series because they're both so good. Obviously, BioShock is, I think I rated it my number 1 game of all time. It's definitely up there, if not. But Infinite it's such a close second to BioShock for me, but it's just The Last of Us is so good that I had to put it above it. But BioShock Infinite, amazing game, amazing choice for sure.
Yeah, and GTA 5 is amazing too. Like, so this was a very strong year, and it was hard to make those choices. And Sean had a good one too for the weebs out there. Definitely a strong weebery pick. All right, boys, let's move on to 2014, shall we?
Let's do it.
Yep. All right. My pick for 2014 is another game on my top 10 list of all time, and that is Shovel Knight. Oh. Absolutely adore this game. I bought this game so many times. I bought it on 3DS, Wii U, PS4, Vita, PS5. I just physical versions. It's so good. This is a quintessential platformer. Like, it looks like, again, it looks like it'd run on the NES, but it really can't with all the stuff they're doing. You can see the inspiration of all the NES games they took from, like Super Mario Bros. 3 with the overworld, DuckTales, Zelda 2. The boss design is awesome, very Mega Man-esque, where you have all the different knights and you're trying to get there's different power-ups in each stage that you can use to help you defeat the knights. Shout out to Propeller Knight. Propeller Knight is my favorite boss. He's one of the last bosses you can fight. I remember the first time doing it, I thought it was so difficult, and now I just speedrun this game and beat it in 30 minutes. It's so good. Absolutely adore this game. If this game came out when I was really little and they had toys for it, I would have been all over this, getting all those knight toys: Propeller Knight, King Knight, Mole Knight, Black Knight, Polar Knight. It's so good. Yeah, absolutely love it. And then all the DLCs too that they added were all free if you bought the game, so it was great. King Knight's DLC was great. They had a little card game with it. But yeah, Shovel Knight, awesome game. One of the best platformers of all time. And I know I've said that for a few games now, but yeah, one of the best platformers of all time right there. Shovel Knight.
Dude, Shovel Knight came out in 2014 and Silk Song is still not out. Jesus.
2014 for the Wii U, and then 2015 for everything else.
All right, Hodge.
My game of 2014, it's actually my third favorite game that was released this year, but the two above it are the Halo Master Chief Collection and the Kingdom Hearts 2.5 remix. So those are just collections, so I'm not going to count them. Not that that's our rule. That's just my personal. I'm not going to count them. So my favorite game of 2014 is Titanfall. I was one of the few who just adored this game. I know a lot of people were upset there was no campaign. In the campaign, there was a campaign, but it was just online matches that were kind of half-assed with a little cutscene at the start of like, "Hey, we're landing at this building, go win," and like that's all it was. Like it was such a terrible campaign that no one should have paid attention to. But the gameplay, it's Respawn who made Call of Duty 4, another one of my favorite games of all time, or the people who were at Infinity Ward now at Respawn. Yeah. And they've never missed. Every game they've made has been amazing. And the movement in this game was revolutionary. Being able to just get up and run on the walls, like Call of Duty tried copying it right after with Advanced Warfare, and it fucking was terrible. No one was like, "This isn't Call of Duty. Don't put this crap in here. It's terrible." But it worked in Titanfall. You run in the walls, and then when you call in a Titan and you just go beast mode on people in the Titans, and they have a Titan fight, it is such an amazing shooter. I love this game so much, and so it was definitely my favorite of the year. I was also kind of close with South Park Stick of Truth also came out this year, which is a fantastic game. But Titanfall, I was obsessed.
That Sean needs to play.
Yeah, he does. But Titanfall, I was obsessed with this game. It's probably like my second or third most played like online game of all time. Because I was also I'm not the best gamer in the world, but I was really good at Titanfall, so I really enjoyed it for that reason also. But yeah, Titanfall, my game in 2014 for sure.
All right, I think that's a great pick because I also enjoyed that game quite a bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But my pick, surprisingly, I'm sure, was the actual game of the year from 2014 at the Keeleys anyway. And that is Dragon Age Inquisition. Of course, I literally cannot effing wait for Dragon Age 4 this year. But the previous Dragon Age was all the way back 10 years ago, Inquisition, and it was a great game. Was it as good as the first Dragon Age Origins? No, but it was still great. I think the only flaw that this game had that I think maybe might have drove a couple people away was that opening area, the hinterlands, was just so bloated. There's just so much crap to do there. And the game doesn't do a great job of pushing you out of it into the main story. They kind of let you like meander and linger in there for a long time. And some people kind of just got bored in the hinterlands and didn't continue the story. And that's on them, but that's also potentially poor development. But the game is incredible. There's all these different worlds. There's great stories. There's, of course, choice and consequence, right? Broken record, but that's in there. And I just really enjoyed this game a lot. It's amazing. BioWare is amazing. And BioWare is back, baby. Dragon Age 4 Game of the Year 2024.
I hope so, because if that game fails, they're fucked.
It's not going to fail.
Yeah, after Andromeda, like if they have two in a row that are bombs, they're done. But yeah, I hope it's good. I hope everyone loves it.
Yeah, I've heard good things. I've heard good things from people who have played it. I think people are thinking Dragon Age 4 is actually like they're going to hit. Like people are saying like this is a good one. I hope they're right.
Yeah. Need it. Really quick, another game from 2014 that needs a shout out is Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. That game was awesome. But
dude, I love that game, but I also hate it at the same time because I love the system, the Nemesis system. But maybe this is my fault, or I don't know what I was doing wrong, or maybe there's a difficulty setting. But the problem I had with that game, every time I tried to get into it, is I would just get mobbed. Like I would just have so many enemies coming at me, and literally like 4 of them would have their own cutscenes, like named Nemesis enemies would be attacking me at once, and I'm like, what the F is going on?
You're supposed to only fight 1 at a time. I think I fought 2 at a time a couple times, but yeah, you shouldn't have 4.
I've had like 3, maybe 4. Like it's crazy.
Yeah,
I think the Souls players would just say get good.
Yeah, well,
get good.
Screw the Souls players. No, I'm kidding. All right, guys, let's move to 2015, shall we?
2015.
All right, 2015. My game of the year for 2015. This was another tough year for me. Was Batman: Arkham Knight. I adore the Arkham series, all of them, and I think Knight is the best of them. And I know a lot of people gave it flack for the Batmobile combat, but you actually weren't. They didn't force you into the Batmobile a lot. like if you only wanted to do the Batmobile for the story content, that's all you had to do. Like you didn't have to run around the world driving around the Batmobile. You could still go around the world as Batman, gliding around. I adored this game. I got the This is one of my most difficult platinum trophies I ever got. It's an amazing game. I did 100% of all the DLC, including like the Predator maps they released. The story's awesome. It was a little it was a little like easy to figure out where they were going with the story, like who the main villain really was. I just overall I like this game. The Arkham games are great, and Knight just took everything that City did and made it even better. And I highly recommend this game. It's still like if you play it today, it looks like it came out like in the last couple of years. It looks gorgeous, and it's so sad that we will never get a true next Arkham game because
because they decided to make
R.I.P.
Suicide Squad
Rocksteady.
instead.
Yeah. Oh well, but yeah, Arkham Knight, fantastic game, love it, and the different costumes are great. I love running around as the Batman animated series suit. I love running around in that suit, or the Batman Beyond suit. But yeah, Arkham Knight.
The only reason I liked this game, but it's my least favorite of the trilogy. I wasn't huge on the tank combat, but and the story was very predictable. You knew who the villain was right from the get go. Because it was the mystery of who is the villain.
But yeah, you know what? I think it's predictable for people who like understand, but like people who just play Batman Arkham games, I don't know if they knew what it was. Like they might not have any idea, or just watch Batman movies.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, I liked this game a lot, but it was the worst of the trilogy in my opinion. I mean, Arkham Asylum was my favorite of the trilogy. Arkham City's amazing.
My least favorite of them. Yeah.
What? It's your least favorite?
My least favorite. Yeah,
it's my least I love
favorite,
Asylum, man. That game is so good.
I think they progressively get better.
Asylum's the only one I played.
Most people say City is their favorite, which I understand. City is awesome. It is an awesome game, but Arkham Asylum was always my favorite one. But move on to mine, I guess. Actually, I take it back. 2012 wasn't the weakest of it. I think 2015. I think this year is actually the weakest one. But that's only because the games that are beloved from this year, I'm not a fan of. I don't care about Bloodborne. I don't care about Dying Light. I loved Until Dawn came out this year. My favorite game of this year was another collection, which is Nathan Drake Collection, the Uncharted one. That was actually my game of the year from this year, but since I'm not doing collections, I'm going to go with Halo 5 Guardians. Just kidding. I'm not going with Halo 5 my favorite of the year is actually Rise of the Tomb Raider. That game,
good game,
was I don't know why. I know like the everything's woke brigade on the internet fucking hates the Tomb Raider trilogy, but the remake, the reboot in 2011,
I think it was 2013. I think
2013. Yeah, I loved that game, and then this one just improved on it. It was an insanely fun game. I don't know why people dislike the Tomb Raider reboot trilogy. I actually haven't played Shadow. Or was that what it was called? Shadow the Tomb Raider?
Yeah, Shadow the Tomb Raider.
Yeah, I never played that one. I should get to it. It came out at a time when I was playing so much other stuff. I just never got around to it.
It was a different developer. That's why I didn't play it. It wasn't Crystal Dynamics. It was like Eidos or someone.
I forgot.
That's why I skipped it. I was like, it's a different dev. I'm not playing it.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, but Rise of the Tomb Raider, I remember this is back in the day when everyone was so mad because this was when Xbox was at their lowest and like, oh my God, they paid for exclusivity. I'm like, so what? But it's a fantastic game and I really love it.
Yeah. Hodge, I'm surprised you never played Rocket League.
No, it's not one I ever got into, but I actually was like, I probably would like it because I really liked the Red 13 mini game from Rebirth.
For some reason, I thought you liked Rocket League a lot. Oh.
Yeah, I've never played it. I'm sure I would, but I never played it. But then also this year, I also had Order 1886, which again, I love that game. It's just not game of the year. But yeah, so Rise of the Tomb Raider, that's my choice for 2015.
Right on. Okay. So for me, for 2015, I agree with Hodge. This was the weakest year for me as well. I really struggled to pick a game for 2015, like really struggled. And it's not because there wasn't good games. It was because I didn't play those good games. I can't pick a game for game of the year that I didn't beat. Like The Witcher 3. Yeah. The Witcher 3 came out in 2015. It's probably the game of the year. I'm playing it now. I'm sure when I beat Witcher 3, it will be the game of the year, but I haven't beat it yet, so I can't pick it yet, right? It just doesn't make sense. Yeah. So I had to pick a game that I actually played from this year, and it was really tough because I think this was when I was in my live service slavery period where I didn't play like any of these games. So guess what I picked for 2015? I picked Call of Duty Black Ops 3 because it was the game that I played a ton from 2015. And it was legitimately a good game. Black Ops 3 is by far the best jetpack COD. It had jetpacks, but it was pretty grounded. Like I don't think you were doing much wall running or anything crazy.
Yeah,
It was mostly gun on gun.
Like
It was just a boost jump pretty much. And it was also semi-slow, so it wasn't like a super advantage to jump in a fight. In fact, it sometimes puts you at a disadvantage. And it was just a fun game. Treyarch, makes or used to make very solid shooters. So Black Ops 3 is my asterisk game of the year for 2015. But if I'm being honest, it's probably Witcher 3. But I'll let you know when I beat it.
Yeah.
Surprised
the other game
no
I forgot
4.
I didn't beat Fallout 4. Sean, believe it or
you
not.
did. Sorry.
Wow.
Sorry.
The other game I forgot to mention from this year was Ori and the Blind Forest. Amazing Metroidvania game. Everyone should play that, especially if you have Xbox. It's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I forgot Fallout. Yeah, Fallout 4 was the other big game from that year, and I also didn't beat that one either, Sean. So
yeah, I didn't beat it either. I loved what I played, but it was one of those games where I got to a story where I wasn't leveled up enough, and I was just getting massacred, and I was like, I didn't feel like grinding, so I just kind of dropped it. But I do want to go back and play, especially after watching the show. It's kind of reinvigorated my interest in the Fallout universe, so I should go back to it.
Or you could play Fallout London.
Dude, apparently it's amazing. Like,
dude, it looks awesome.
Loving it.
It really does. It looks awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
And some people have tried to spin that Fallout London being awesome is some L for Bethesda Game Studios. And I just don't get that. I see this as a massive W for Bethesda Game Studios because they've created an engine and a world and a, a setting that is so versatile that modders can make an amazing game experience out of it. I think that's a W. Like,
yeah,
I honestly feel like I don't know Todd Howard, obviously. But I feel like if Todd Howard is probably excited that this thing exists. I don't think he's mad. I think this is awesome that somebody is taking his world and his assets and making something great with it. I think he would be into that.
Well, and apparently it's so big that like the Bethesda servers couldn't do it. So like a different server company came and was like, we'll host it for free. Don't worry. And they're just hosting their server.
GOG, right?
I can't remember what it was. I saw it on a video and it went in one ear out the other. But yeah, it's just so cool that the people are just like, this is awesome. We'll host it for you. Like that's a really cool thing.
It's GOG, which is CD Projekt Red. CD Projekt Red owns the GOG store.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Good old games store. Yep. Huh. CD Projekt Red.
Cool.
All right. So should we move on, guys? 2016?
Yeah,
let's do it.
Sean Mason.
All right. 2016, I'm going with Uncharted 4. This is my favorite Uncharted game. I love it. I thought at the time, I thought it was like the perfect wrap up to the Nathan Drake story. I think it was perfect what Naughty Dog did with it. They took like the Uncharted 1, 2, and 3 and just kind of elevated it. There's like little throwbacks to the previous Uncharted games in there that like just give you like that nostalgic feeling. Like, oh, I remember that. Like you pick up like an item. Oh, I remember that. I remember when I did this. I thought the overall scenery and some of like the open, like not open world like that, like some of like the bigger open like landscape level areas, those were awesome. I thought it looks gorgeous on PS4. I remember when it came out in that May of 2016, I remember just absolutely falling in love with it and just blasting through it in like a weekend. I adored this game. I thought what it did for Nathan and Elena's story was great. I thought it was awesome, and the ending is just so good. The way that it just ends with it and the epilogue, so good. Uncharted 4, awesome.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and get into mine because it's also Uncharted 4. I adored this. Like I forgot to mention this when we were talking about when I bought like how I said I bought my PS3 and Uncharted was like the first game I bought, one of them. I actually didn't buy a PS4 until this game came out, and I bought it for this game because I love the trilogy so much. And I was like, because I remember I was listening to Podcast Beyond at the time, and they were talking about the game, and I just had to shut it off. I'm like, I don't want even the smallest spoiler. I want to go into this game completely fresh. And so I went on and I actually bought the Nathan Drake Uncharted 4 PS4, like the one it's like this light blue with a gold Nathan Drake on it. Very cool PS4. I actually sold it when I got the PS4 Pro, which I kind of regret doing, but I love this game so much. It is a perfect wrap up. The graphical upgrade from the original trilogy is insane. This game is
they did such a good
beautiful.
job. Naughty Dog did an amazing job with their their graphics on this game. Like even the upgrade from The Last of Us remastered on PS4 is like it's a huge upgrade from that, which was just 2 years before. Overall, it's such a good game.
Yeah, this was such a good year because my favorite of the year is actually BioShock the collection, but again, I'm not doing collections as a thing. But yeah, it also had Quantum Break, fantastic game, Call of Duty Modern Warfare remastered, Dishonored 2. I didn't beat it, so I couldn't put it on my list because it was glitched when it came out, and I got stuck in a level and couldn't progress, so I just dropped the game. I do need to go back to it because I love the Dishonored world. Titanfall 2. Great campaign. I didn't play the online nearly as much as the first one, so I didn't want to rank it up there. But yeah, this was a fantastic year, but Uncharted 4 was definitely the game of the year for me.
All right, good stuff. Yeah. Unfortunately, I didn't play Uncharted 4, so I couldn't rank it, although I would not be surprised if that is the game of the year from what I've seen and heard. But this was another year that was kind of a struggle for me. 2015 to 2017, I don't know what I was doing. Apparently, I was just playing a ton of live services because I really struggled with these years picking games that I actually beat. And this one actually, I didn't beat this game either, but I'm going to pick it because I put 100 hours into it and I got right up to the end. And I just had like nothing else to pick, honestly. Like this is kind of like just save me. This is what I picked. And this is for Sean. This is Weebury. Persona 5 is going to be my pick for 2016. I didn't beat the game, like I said, but I literally put in like 100 hours. I made it past like the cheeseburger dungeon or whatever. And I think there might've been one after that I beat too. I can't remember exactly where I quit, but I was loving this game so much. I romanced the hot emo doctor chick. She was awesome. You can't go, or the goth doctor chick. She was great. The music is insane in this game. One of the best soundtracks of all time. The art style, the characters. It's just such a good game. And I don't know what pulled my attention away from it, but I got away from it. I do want one of these days to go back and maybe play like Persona 5 Royal and start over. But at the same time, starting over and replaying 100 hours, that's tough.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that you never finished Persona 5 because like you're so hyped for Metaphor.
I am hyped for Metaphor because it's like a medieval type setting, and I love medieval. You know what I mean?
All right, well, it's a great game. Yeah. Persona 5 is a great game.
Yeah, so that was my kind of cop-out pick because I just didn't play crap really from this year. So I had to pick something. I figured 100 hours is enough. The game is freaking awesome, dude. I loved that game.
When you said live service, I was expecting you to say Battlefield 1 for some reason. I don't know. Have you ever been a Battlefield fan or no?
Not a massive Battlefield fan, but I have played a bit of it, obviously. Okay. Battlefield 1 is great. I know my nephew loves that game.
That one, it was my favorite one since Bad Company. Bad Company those are the best Battlefield games by far. They're hilarious and they're really fun. But Battlefield 1 was really good. It had like the, what's it called, where you have different stories. It's not one story. Why am I blanking on what that's called? The starts with an A. I don't know. Anyway, it had a bunch of different stories that were really fun. Like it was all in different parts of the world during the war. Like you play as an Australian in one, you play as an African in one. Like it was really cool. And so that was a fun game. And don't you like XCOM also? Because XCOM 2.
I love XCOM. Yeah. And well, maybe I should have picked that one actually, but I think Persona 5 is a better game than XCOM, to be honest with you. Even though I didn't beat it, I played enough to know that. Like it's a masterpiece game. It really is.
Yeah, I've heard nothing but good about it.
The music, the story. It's
a great game. It's a great game. Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to 2017. Let's do it.
All right. My 2017 game of the year is Mass Effect Andromeda. No, I'm kidding. I've never played
it. Better than advertised.
My brain just started melting. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, never played it. No, it's Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Again, this is one of my favorite games of all time. Like I talked about it in the top 10 list. Unbelievable JRPG. One of the best JRPGs on Switch. It introduces some of the best characters of the Xenoblade franchise. Like I love Rex as a main character. A lot of people give him flack, but I love him. I love collecting all the different blades. Pyra and Mithra are awesome. And also, I was thinking back at it. I was just, thinking about on my flight when I wasn't, playing 10 hours of Metroid. I was thinking about some of my favorite video game antagonists of all time. And I think Malos from Xenoblade Chronicles 2, who's one of the leaders in command of Torna, who's like the evil group in the game, is one of my favorite antagonists of all time. He is so just he carries a demeanor that when he walks in the room, like, oh my god, like, like, you just get like, if he walked in the room in real life, you'd be like, you feel all tensed up. Malice is such a cool guy. He's a really powerful boss. The game gets really difficult at the end, but yeah, Xenoblade Chronicles 2 was an amazing Switch game. It came out in 2017, so the launch year of the Switch. I put like 250 hours into this game. It's awesome, and they have a whole DLC called the Torna DLC, and it's like a whole nother game, basically. It's like 25 hours. It's great.
Dude, 250 hours. I just imagine Hodge literally dying inside when he hears that. Like,
Dude,
could you imagine
so
Hodge playing a game that long? No.
It's so good. The side quests in this game are awesome. Some of them are like terrible, like, hey, go get my rock. And some of them are like really good though. Like, hey, I'm looking for my wife, and then you find out like his wife actually died like 30 years ago, and he's like trying to like accept that she's gone, and he can't. It's like it's such a good game. I love it. And
cool.
It's the best. Like, I wish Pokemon would. I wish like these devs would get Pokemon, because the way that this game came out in 2017, and it runs better than Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. Just say that. All right, moving on. Hodge, you're up.
A broken windmill runs better than those fucking games. I'm actually shocked you did not pick the game that I'm picking for Game of the Year, because I know how much you love it. And my Game of the Year is Horizon Zero Dawn. Game.
Yeah, it was very close for me, but I had to go with Xenoblade.
Yeah, I adore this game. It was so much, like, I remember seeing the trailers for it, and I was just like, it looks fine. It's like you're a Amazonian woman fighting robot dinosaurs. I'm like, I don't get what the point of this is. Like, okay, but then when you play it and find out kind of what's going on, and you're figuring out why are there these robot like, it's not a surprise when, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a surprise that you find out that it's like post-apocalyptic. I don't know if
it wasn't. They reveal that in like one of the first trailers.
Okay, good, because I was gonna say, I remember that they never really alluded to it, but at the same time I was like, is this supposed to be like a mystery that I'm like, what, this is the future? Like, I didn't know if that was supposed to be it, but because it's pretty obvious when you play it. But yeah, this game, it's a beautiful game, especially at the time. Obviously, Forbidden West is a better looking game. Obviously, it came out next gen and whatnot. But this game, I platinumed this one twice, actually. Or no, I didn't platinum it. I beat it a lot. I did a lot of content, but I didn't get the platinum when I played the first time. But then I platinumed it before Forbidden West came out, which was a mistake because I burnt myself out on those games, and I never beat Forbidden West, which I need to go back and do, because I know you like it more than this one.
Horizon is such, I mean, like I mentioned, it's my favorite PlayStation franchise. This was a really tough pick for me. Zero Dawn is amazing, but yeah, I love Aloy as a character. She's awesome. I love the world of Horizon. I think it's so, like, the concept is so cool, and reading all like the documents, you get so much backstory. It's so good.
Yeah, see, that's the thing, and that's why I like this one. Like we talked about it last week, why I like the first one better than the second one, even though I haven't beat the second one, so I can't completely judge it or throw it out, is because in the first one, she was like the chosen one. I won't explain why, but she is able to access a bunch of stuff for certain reasons, and then in the second one, they just gave everyone that access, and it just kind of ruined it for me.
That does get explained, though. It does get explained.
Oh, does it? Okay.
Yeah,
because it felt like a cop-out. It's like in Dragon Ball Z when Goku becomes a legendary Super Saiyan, and then next season every single person is a Super Saiyan. It's like, well, then it's not that special anymore. But yeah, I love this game. But it was actually really tough because Prey also came out this year, and that game is almost perfect. I love that game so much. But yeah, this was a pretty strong year. I'm looking at kind of at the list right now.
17 is amazing. You have Mario Odyssey as well.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey. Yeah,
Breath of the Wild.
Breath of the Wild. Resident Evil 7, not Game of the Year, but a great game.
There was another game for the weebs, Sean, that I didn't play, but Nier Automata.
Yeah, Nier Automata. That's a really good game. Persona 5 Royal came out this year as well. Yeah, it's a great game. Great year. It's one of my favorite years.
Yeah. But yeah, so Horizon Zero Dawn's my choice for this year, even though there's a lot. I was really torn between that and Prey, but when I didn't play Prey until years later, so I'm just basically letting it win just by I did play it when it came out. So that's why I'm picking it over it. But yeah, Midnight, what about you for 2017?
Yeah, for 2017, this is about to be the lamest, most people are going to go take a nap during this one. Splatoon because 2. all of those amazing games that you guys talked about, I didn't play like any of them, so I can't pick them. So I had to go ahead and pick a game that I did enjoy, but it's by no means the actual game of the year. Wolfenstein 2, the New Order or whatever. That was my game of the year. Yeah, see, I can't even remember the name.
Yeah.
The new Colossus. That was my game of the year for 2017, simply because I didn't play Breath of the Wild, Mario Odyssey, Nier Automata, all these other games that you guys just mentioned. I didn't play them. I did play Horizon Zero Dawn, actually, but I think I probably like Wolfenstein better because I'm just not a huge Horizon fan.
Yeah,
so.
you're more of a shooter kind of guy for that rather than open adventure. You're like the open world RPG, not the open world adventure, I would say. But no,
I don't know. I didn't like the character in this. And
oh, that's fair. A lot of people don't like Aloy, but that's actually, it's not a bad pick at all. Wolfenstein 2 is an amazing game. I fucking love that game. Is 2 the one where you go to Venus, or is that 1?
Honestly, I don't remember.
I can't remember. But yeah, it's
2's the one with the awesome milkshake scene with the Nazi officer.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, no, it's a great choice. Obviously, yeah, you picked it because it's kind of just default of it's what you played, but that's a fantastic game. So I'm not even upset with that pick.
But starting with 2018, we're back with games that I actually was gaming again.
Dude, these next 2 years are insane.
Really good. So many great games. Let's move on, shall we? 2018, Sean Mason.
All right, 2018, the Weebery continues for Sean Mason here. We got Ni no Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom. Now, this game is freaking amazing. I adore this game. Unpopular opinion, I like it better than the first one. It takes place in the kingdom of Ding Dong Dell. Yeah, right there. Very, very, very Weebery right there. No, it's just so cool. It's such a cool story where basically like the cat family, like the family is basically like they're like anthropomorphic cats. They get overthrown by like the rats. Like the rats kind of take over, and like your whole job is like, you know, rallying up other kingdoms to come and help you and take back the throne. It's really cool. There's a human who gets transported from the human world into this world, and he has no idea what's going on. Like he's like, why am I here? His name's Roland. He's a really cool guy. The combat's awesome. It's not turn-based. It's much more action-oriented. And then they have like the building your kingdom and like, you know, upgrading your bases. And then they have like a whole like almost like an XCOM style type of side game where like you get to like control units and control them like via, it's like a top down. You control the units and like, you send them out to like fight other units. It's a pretty good game. I really liked Ni no Kuni 2. I thought the story was very heartwarming, and it gets pretty dark at certain times too. The party system's really cool. A lot of different cool quests. Yeah, Ni no Kuni 2, awesome game. Highly recommend it. It's out on every platform now, so no reason for you not to play it. Great.
Yeah, actually, I think it's on Game Pass too. I thought about playing it, but
it's great.
To it.
The cutscenes are like Studio Ghibli, so he didn't make it. You know, he worked in the first game, like he did the cutscenes, but they look just like him in the second game too.
Yeah.
Sean, I know this was a difficult year for you because Smash Bros. Ultimate and Octopath both came out that year.
Yep. So that was really tough because I was deciding between Smash Brothers, Ultimate, they had Octopath. 2018, like 2017 to, you know, for me, ultimately 2015 to like basically now has just been banger years.
There's
like since 2015, I've just been like, it's been insane.
I think maybe 2022 was probably the slowest year because that was kind of delay from COVID.
But even then, I love 2022.
Yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head what came out the year, but I just remember there was like a little bit of a lull because of all the COVID delays. But
I know Xbox had nothing that year, I think.
They had Tunic. They got Tunic on Game Pass that year.
Yeah. It was like, there's no games. But anyways, Hodge?
Yeah. This was, like I said, this is a tough one. Like, Let's Go Pikachu came out that game. I really love that game. I know a lot of people don't, but it's a remaster of the first one that I like. I love Pokemon Yellow, so having a remaster, I really enjoyed it. And then my favorite of the year is actually, once again, a collection that I'm not going to include is Spyro Reignited Trilogy. The Spyro trilogy is one of my favorite trilogies of all time, if not my favorite. So, but yeah, I'm not going to go with that. I'm actually going to go with Fallout 76. No, not really. I'm going to go with God of War. God of War is, it brought us back to a world that I was obsessed with growing up. The first one, like I said, is still my favorite. I love that game so much. 2 and 3, I enjoyed a lot. They were great at the time. And so I still remember in 2016 at that PlayStation conference when you see Atreus outside, you have no idea who he is. He's just outside playing with like a toy or whatever. And he walks inside and you see Kratos just walk from the shadows. And you're just like, what? And then they show the gameplay, and instead of it being kind of a top-down just action game. You're right behind. It's the PlayStation typical third person view of you're just right behind them. But the gameplay was so insane. The graphics were unbelievable. It was that one cut game where there's no cuts or to anything. You're just following it in one motion the entire game. The plot was amazing. There's that moment. I'm not even going to spoil it. I'm sure who's played it is going to play it, or everyone who's going to play it has played it. But there's a moment that's so emotional that I lost my shit when it happened. It was an amazing moment. But yeah, this game, I adore it so much. So it's definitely my favorite from 2018. That's not Spyro.
Okay. Yeah, God of War is a great game. I beat it as well.
Fantastic game. Fabulous.
I thoroughly enjoyed that game as well. And I need to play Ragnarok one of these days because I haven't.
It's worse than the first one, but not by much.
It's better than the first one. It's better than the first one.
It's longer and has more puzzles, and I don't like those two things.
The only good thing about the fact that you don't like puzzles is Atreus solves it for you within 10 seconds of showing.
Guys, Hodge just doesn't like sequels. We all understand. Hodge doesn't like sequels.
You know what? I was actually thinking about that. I always prefer, in almost every series, I prefer the first one over any of the sequels, and then Sean is always the one he likes the latest one the most.
Hodge is
I like sequel
hater. He loves collections.
Yep, he likes collections.
Well, no, hey,
the only sequel he likes Spyro 2.
Yeah, I was going to say that Spyro 2 is the only sequel that I prefer more than the first one.
All right, guys.
That's
good
funny.
games. Good games.
God, I know you too well.
I'm up now.
Yes, you do. Yep.
2018. Well, there was a game that came out in 2018. A little known game that came from Rockstar. Well, I have a plan. And of course, I'm talking about Red Dead Redemption 2. But screw that. That's not my game of the year.
Oh, whoa.
I'm going to call an audible. That game was awesome. But the game that I enjoyed the most from 2018 is... Why did I make that sound? Because it has nothing to do with it. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is my game of the year. That's right. I'm not joking. I'm dead serious. Assassin's Creed Odyssey was my game of the year for 2018 because it was freaking amazing. That game's a masterpiece to me. It is a beautiful, scenic open world in ancient Greece filled with turquoise water, white sandy beaches, islands, mythology, big statues of Poseidon, big statues of Zeus. You can go around and play as Sparta versus freaking Athens and influence that war. There was awesome, funny side stories like the little Minotaur story. Dude, it was just so good. You get to meet like the first thespian or whatever. There's the Olympics is there. Dude, it's so good. That game is so fun. The weapons, getting Poseidon's poison spear, flaming swords, Sparta kicking people off of cliffs and watching them go splat. Dude, that game was incredible. Assassin's Creed Odyssey is my game of the year of 2018 for sure.
Wow.
But also shout out to Red Dead 2. Great game.
I was actually surprised when you said just kidding, it's not Red Dead or whatever. I was expecting you to go Spider-Man because that was your one of your favorite IPs from PlayStation.
I was
Great game as well.
Too.
Yeah, I was expecting. I do, but Spider-Man. I didn't shout it out just because I didn't know if someone was going to say it. But Spider-Man is is an amazing game. I fucking
2018. What a year! What a year!
Yeah. What a year!
I remember 2018.
Spider-Man's great too.
I remember 2018 was like the year that people were like, we haven't had a year this good since like 2007 or whatever, or maybe 08. I can't remember which one it is, but yeah, I remember like 2018 was the year that where everyone's like, I can't pick a game of the year because it's so good. But Assassin's Creed Odyssey, I actually I fell off of it, not because I didn't like it. It's just because I started it right after I beat Origins. So I did the again where I burnt myself out in open worlds.
Yeah.
And so I do want to go back to it because it was a very cool setting. I love the Egypt setting in Origins too, but yeah, I do want to go back to Odyssey one day, but I just haven't been able to. I'm never going to play Valhalla though because it's 1,000 hours long.
Play as Cassandra is my advice because her voice actor is 10 times better than the dude.
I think I did.
She killed it.
I think I was playing as her before I fell off, but I'll go back to being her again.
She's so good. She did so much emotion and great performance from her.
Cool. Yeah.
All right. 2019, I am very interested to see if Hodge and I are going to have the same pick, but we'll have to find out on this one. But we're going to start out with the Lord of Weebery. Will this be another Weeb game, Sean? What's your 2019?
This was a tough choice for me. Very, very tough choice. It is a Weeb game, but I will say I came very close to picking the Outer Worlds, like really, really close.
Me too.
But ultimately, I went with Trails of Cold Steel 3. Another Trails game. Cold Steel 3 really was one of my favorite Cold Steel games. It was my favorite Trails game until I played Azure and then Reverie and then Daybreak. Cold Steel 3 basically is like the huge turning point of the series where it gets like, where usually the games, like the first half of the games, are really lighthearted and they get dark in the second half, where Trails of Cold Steel 3 is like, nope, we're going dark the entire time. There's a civil war going on. The main character, Reen, is basically being used by the government, and he doesn't want to do what he's doing, but he has to, or else they're going to basically... I'm not going to spoil what they're going to do, but they're going to do something really bad if he doesn't do what they're doing, and he's trying to do the right thing, but at the same time, he has that internal conflict in him, like, I can't do this. You learn a lot more about his backstory, too, which is incredibly dark. Like, a lot, like, it alludes to how dark it is, and then you can't even imagine how dark it actually is. You're introduced to a brand new cast of characters of Class 7. So there was in the first two Cold Steel games, there was Class 7, and then there's a new Class 7 in Cold Steel 3 and 4. And it introduces some of my favorite characters. One guy's name is Ash Carbide. He's an awesome character, and if you play Cold Steel 3 and you don't feel for Ash, you don't have a heart because of the stuff that he goes through in that game. But yeah, Cold Steel 3 is tremendous, and the soundtrack of Cold Steel 3 just bangs. It's like, people think that Cold Steel 3 has, like, it's widely regarded as the best soundtrack of the Trail series. So yeah, Cold Steel 3, really, really great game. But again, came down really close between Cold Steel 3 and The Outer Worlds. Also, shout out to the remake of Crash Team Racing. Put like 350 hours in that game. I was in the top 100 ranked in the world in that game on online. Yeah, it was one of the only online games I played a ton of. I was in those Crash online leagues on Discord. Like, that was how I found out what Discord was. Yeah, absolutely adored it. 2019, great year. What a year. Games are great.
Oh man, I hate how good these games look and sound, these Trails games, because I want to play them, but it's like there's so many games and they're so long. It's like, fuck.
Dude, Ash's backstory.
Like, I'm missing out.
Everything that goes on with Ash is like, it's so heartbreaking.
You're killing me, Sean. I really feel like I'm missing out, man. Damn it.
Dude, I'm hoping the Sky, the rumor about the Sky trilogy getting remade into one game, that'd be awesome, because I could see that happening.
All right. Well,
I would knock 3 games down. Yeah.
That would be cool.
This year was so impossible to pick because I love, like, there are 3 10s out of 10s that came out this year for me. And so, but I'm going to have to go with Death Stranding. This also almost because I had no faith in it when it was, so as people know, I've never played the Metal Gear. I've tried playing the first one so many times, but it aged like fucking milk. So I can't do it. And I'm sorry, those controls are terrible. They're terrible.
They're so bad.
Yeah. So I've tried so many times, but so I've never cared about Kojima. So when people are like, oh, he's making his own studio, I'm like, okay, that's fine. And then seeing the trailers for Death Stranding, I was like, okay, I don't care. But then seeing reviews come out there, they were very mixed. Either people loved it or they thought it was like the most boring piece of shit ever.
It's a walking simulator.
And I love walking sims, so it fits. But this game blew me away. It's not even like, the story is fine. It's not the greatest story in the world. It's the gameplay, of course, it is simple. It was made very quickly. This game, I'm pretty sure it was announced and then released within 4 years or something like that. I think it was announced 15. And so this game, I had no faith in it. And I don't know, like, it's one of those games, I've said this before, I don't know if I can like recommend it to people because it is such a niche like gameplay style, but I just love it. There's something about it. It just stuck with me for so long. I put about 100 hours into this game, which I normally don't do with games that aren't online live service games. So like, I just melted into this game for so long and I fucking loved it. But I was so torn between this. Resident Evil 2 came out this year. Control.
Kingdom Hearts 3,
even though it's
Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah, fucking Jedi Fallen Order, Plague Tale Innocence came out this year.
Oh, Plague Tale, great game.
Yeah, this year was so freaking good. Modern Warfare Remake, Apex Legends, The Division, even though I fell off that one pretty quick. What?
Link's Awakening?
Was
this year too?
Yeah, this game, I know a lot of people love Sekiro. I'm not a Souls-like player, so I can't pick that one, but
Great
it
year.
was such like it shames like even 2017 like or 2018 to me. Like this year was so freaking good. So it was I was so torn between Control and Death Stranding, but I have to go with Death Stranding because this game just came out of nowhere for me and I adore it. It's like the first game I've ever really just went out of my way to buy like t-shirt merch for. I don't have many gaming like merch. I have a PlayStation logo shirt but I went to the store and I bought like 6 freaking Death Stranding shirts. I bought the little statue, the Ludes, whatever, the mascot statue. Like I have all the faith in Kojima now, so I cannot wait for Death Stranding 2. And yeah, I adore this game so much. But yeah. What about
Okay.
you, Midnight?
Fantastic pick, Hodge. Fantastic pick. I do want to say to what you were saying, Sean, I want to give a hearty shout out to the Black Rock because the Outer Worlds was the other game that I was strongly debating. I was like, I really wanted to pick the Outer Worlds because it is a
So good.
fantastic
So
game. It's
good.
so good. It's underrated, I think. But
Yeah.
as much as I love Black Rock and as much as I love the Outer Worlds, this game that I'm about to pick is just, in my opinion, objectively and definitively better. It's just a better game. And that is Death Stranding, Hodge. Right here, sir. Right here.
I
Fist
figured.
bump.
I
Fist
knew
bump
it. I
camera.
knew it. Yeah.
I love Death Stranding. It was so good. It is just literally a vibe. I know people say that and it's kind of corny,
Yeah.
but this game is literally a vibe in a video game. You just get transported to this world and you got these big packages on your back and you're walking through and you have to like, manage your leaning and stuff, and you have to control the package and you have to get it there and you have to watch out for the time fall, watch out for the freaking ghosts or whatever that they were, what were they called?
Oh
The
my God.
strandings, whatever.
Yeah, I can't remember. I'm blanking right now.
Anyway, you have to watch out for them. You got to get your little spray out and spray off the rust. You got to deliver those packages in pristine condition. And as I've mentioned before, after you make a long, 10, 15-minute trek to your destination, and as you hone in on that destination, all of a sudden that music starts
And
hitting
it zooms
and
out.
it's just so scenic and it's
Yeah.
just so good.
Yeah.
The story's awesome. The characters are awesome. The only thing that I wasn't completely feeling was the little war flashback side things where you had to play through, and I'm just like, I don't really want to do this.
with Mads Mikkelsen's character.
Yeah.
They were just odd. It gave me
It was
like
weird.
It gave me like Pink Floyd vibes for some reason. I don't know
Yeah.
why that came to my mind, but I thought of Pink Floyd and like The Wall for some
It
reason.
was kind of like some LSD stuff going on there, and I wasn't really trying to do that. I wanted to deliver my next package.
Yeah.
But it was a great game. That's my game of the year for 2019, Death Stranding. I can't wait for Death Stranding 2.
Mhm.
I'm also fairly interested for whatever it is that they're working on with Xbox, some kind of narrative horror thing. I'm sure that'll be cool too. I'll play it. So yeah.
Oh,
That's it.
also another amazing game that year, Anthem. So no.
No, we're not talking
Dude,
about
I remember seeing the trailer for that. I thought it looked so cool, and then there were some people who's like, "That looks really bad." And I'm like, "What are you talking about? They're like Iron Man."
The Iron Man game.
Yeah, and I was like, "That looks so cool." And then, of course, everyone who said it looked bad was right because it was very bad.
I love BioWare, and I was like, okay, this game sucks at launch, but it'll be good. It's going to pull a Destiny. It's going to pull a No Man's Sky. Whatever.
then they
They're going to make
cancel
it good. They were talking about Anthem 2.0. They were hyping it up, and then years later, they were like, nah,
Yeah,
we're canceling it. And I was
insane.
like, you bastards. So I never played it.
Yeah, it's a shame. But yeah, Death Stranding, amazing game. Yeah.
All right, boys. So that is it. That is our list. 2010 through 2019, our games of the year. Some fantastic games, and a great discussion was had. But I think that's pretty much going to do it for us here. Let's go ahead and get to final thoughts, shall we? Let's go ahead and start with you, Hodge. What are your final thoughts? Say goodbye for episode 14.
A lot of great games. I don't want to end on a sour note, but and I don't want to get too deep into it, but I just want everyone to keep our friend of the show, Dustin Furman, in their prayers. Some bad stuff happened to him recently, some very bad stuff. I don't want to get into it. You can go to his Twitter and find out about it. It's a horrific thing that happened to him, but so just keep our friend Dustin in your prayers. But other than that, great games. And obviously I don't want to end on a sour note, but I just wanted to say that because he's a good buddy of ours.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I thought about bringing it up at the start of the show, but I didn't. It's just, it's such a horrendous, depressing, horrible thing. And
Yeah.
definitely thoughts and prayers are with Dustin. It's horrible, and I feel awful for him.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Sean, final thoughts for episode 14, my friend.
Yeah, I know. We're just, we're all sending positive vibes to Dustin and Holly and the entire Furman family. Every day, I'm thinking about you guys. It's tough. It's one of those things that not 99% of people are not going to know what you guys go through, and we can say we feel bad, and but we honestly don't know how you're feeling, but we're sending our thoughts and prayers to you, like we all said. But yeah, it's a tough situation. It stinks, but hopefully things will get better. Things will get better. They will get better. Not hopefully, they will get better. But yeah, just stay strong and keep being awesome.
Hell yeah.
Keep being awesome. All right. Did you have any fun or other final thoughts that you guys had as we move out of this episode? Please clap, by the way.
No, I just love video games.
Rule.
Yeah. Can't wait to do the other decades down the road. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we're going to do some more decades, so look forward to
Wait till we
that.
do the 1970s.
Yeah,
it's going to be tough. Who's going to dethrone Pong?
Baby.
Pinball themed after Vietnam.
All right, boys. So my final thought is just games are awesome, and I love them. So can't wait for my final thought is one more time. I'm going to give a shout out to Dragon Age 4, Dragon Age The Veil Guard, because it's going to be game of the year for this year. Everybody go out and pre-order it. Everybody play it. Thank me later. BioWare is back, baby. Mark Dara is going to save gaming. Not that it needs saving, because it's in one of the best places it's ever been, except for all the layoffs. But from a game perspective, one of the best places it's ever been. But that's been it. This has been episode number 14, Games Over Plastic. We love and appreciate you. Thank you all for your support. Have a great day. Have a great week. Goodbye.
Please stop. I love you all.
I like Planet Mars.